I don't know if you'll be able to really tell from this video, but there's our smoky sun today. So some people in these parts of western Montana consider what we're in now, today is like August 6th, consider this now sort of like our 5th season. So there's fall, there's winter, there's spring, there's summer, and then there's fire season. So we are amid fire season here in Montana, and lots of places are in fire season right now. And I know a lot of places are really struggling with wildfires. And our skies are smoky here in western Montana. And they have been for, 2 or 3 weeks. And we don't have a ton of our own fires here in Montana yet. We do have a few, but most of our smoke here in Montana, my understanding is coming from around us. Canada, Washington State, Oregon State. And my heart really goes out to all those places who are actively and acutely affected right now by wildfires. Our air quality today actually isn't too bad. It's I just checked, and it's 99, which is moderate. I just heard the gray jays. But our air quality is 99 on a scale of 0 to 500. So it's listed as moderate. We're in the yellow, which means, just kind of something to pay attention to, especially for those who have, breathing issues or asthma or allergies, things like that. So it's actually, not too bad, but I can definitely tell, especially when you look at the sun, pretty smoky. And that will also impact what we get through the panels today, although, we're in our peak sun season, so I imagine our batteries will get full still, but it definitely reduces what comes in through the panels as far as things go. So I thought I would just kind of show a little bit of the window, even though Mike is not here, and he would be the person to show it better and explain it better, but he's working off-site today roofing. And so here's the window all installed. And at first, we're like, well, it might look a little goofy. It's a pretty big bump out in a very small building. But for me, honestly, I think for both of us, it grew on us pretty quickly. And the function, of course, of it and everything else is just like, well, we'll get over the slightly funky way it looks. And also, we're also a little funky. So it, it makes good sense. It fits right in here. But to have this kind of bump out right next to a door is interesting. But it's awesome. We're already really enjoying it a lot, and seeing the potential for it to just really increase the use of the space inside. And so he'll have to figure out, of course, how to trim this all, how to finish it, and that's one of Mike's great skills and talents is doing that. So I just thought I would take you inside once again. Here's our mess. This is what it looks like in the process of building here at Empty Mountain. Just so you don't have any illusions that stuff just happens magically or quickly. Okay, so we were given this window by a wonderful friend of ours, and he didn't have the right pull on it or the right hardware or something. I don't entirely understand. But anyway, so we're gonna have to kind of figure that out. He did give us this, and so it just kind of right now it plugs in there and works, but we don't have this whole mechanism, so we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, so this is I think it's called what's it called, a tilt and turn window maybe. It's a European style window. And, okay, so I'm still getting the hang of it. But I think if we go this way, okay, yeah, it opens. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, this is, okay, we're just gonna put that down there for a second. But this opens all the way up. You know, and now also it'll double if ever we want to like create a drive-up service. You know, I could create a coffee bar here or a lemonade stand and be like, how may I help you? And people could drive right up. So this opens all the way, which is awesome. And I'm not sure if we'll put in a screen or not, if we'll build a screen for this or not. I don't know that yet. Okay, let's see if we can one-hand camera action and do this. Okay, so this goes in here. So then, oh, okay. So then I think that's locked. But if I go up the other way. Maybe we go up the other way. Oh dear. This is good cameraing right here. Okay. Okay. All right, maybe you don't get to see what happens. It's not going to be that exciting after all this anyway. Some people have lots of good gear. Okay, and so you don't need to see me futzing with that more. But anyway, if you turn this a different way, this top just pops open, just like a little bit, so you can vent it, vent out the heat. And so yeah, you can open it all the way or tilt the top open. And these are designed pretty cool because if we had the right hardware and it was all working right, you can't do this wrong. So it, you know, one way it turns, it'll open, the other way it turns, it locks, and the other way it turns, it opens the top. So, you know, we'll have to get the hang of it, you know, again, once we have the hardware, but, all right, we'll shut that later. But I came out here actually yesterday morning. The moon was out and I could see it from here, and I hung out in this spot and it was amazing. It was so nice. And I was like, oh, another bonus of this window seat is like, I can come out here in the early morning and write and read and do my sitting meditation, and like, this window is amazing. So I think that will be awesome, especially come this winter when like this wood stove will be plugged in and operating, and we'll actually need to light a small fire in here once a day, because this is our experiment that we'll be running this winter again, is that he'll take out this insulation. Our new water cubes are on the other side of this wall, and the hope and the dream is that we'll start a small fire in here once a day, and there'll be heat transfer enough to keep the water in the water cubes from freezing over the winter so that we can still use that water. So I'll have to come in here once a day, or one of us will, to light a fire, and it kind of makes sense that it would be me because I wake up really early. So, so yeah, maybe my morning routine this winter will be to come in here, light a small fire, and just hang out in this amazing, cool bay window spot. Yeah, this will be pretty awesome. And then when we use the sauna, which is on the other side of this door through there, in the winter we'll be able to hang out here, you know, when all this stuff isn't in here. We'll have little benches or chairs, a table, we'll have a nice little setup in here. So this will be a cool use of space in here. And you know, kind of another thing I was thinking this space could be, you know, is like a guest stay area. We have a single mattress. We could easily put a mattress on the floor. Someone could stay in here if they wanted or needed to, especially in the colder weather months. So that'll be nice. An option. So as you can see, the mess, you know, the necessary mess of building continues. We are going to have to clean all this up here pretty soon because we're having a camping retreat weekend next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. So we'll be starting to do a lot of prep work for that here real soon. But there's what our window looks like. It's gonna be awesome. This fall, Mike will need to make an insulated box to cover the cubes. So that'll be on the horizon also. And we'll see where he gets with, you know, everything. We just do a little bit at a time, go as we're able, see where he gets as far as installing the floors and walls inside that antechamber of the sauna. But I'll take you over here and we'll take a look at all the wood that he milled. I guess it's been a couple months ago now, a month or so ago. There's our Empty Mountain Work horse. Woodrow, we call him, our portable sawmill. So here's all the wood. That's amazing, so pretty. So these were all milled recently. As you can see, stacked with spacers so that they dry and as much as possible before we put them in. So I think all of these came from the remaining logs. I think this is what, I don't know if, no, this is a different log. I think these are different logs. But I think all of that in here is from what the loggers brought down to us. That they weren't going to be able to use. So that will be all of that. Like Mike did a lot of figuring out and using Google SketchUp on his computer to figure out how much lumber to make. So I think all of this will cover the inside of the sauna, that antechamber space of the floorboards and the wall cladding, and then also the floor and the wall cladding inside the guest hut, which is not yet done. So we'll see where we get with that. He'll also work over the winter and through the winter, which he did last winter on the sauna building. So, I mean, some of this might be a winter project. We'll just see where it goes, especially since he's working off-site right now for a little while. So he's just going to be a weekend warrior for a bit. So yeah, that's a little bit on the building front and the weather front. It's been cooler here the last couple of days, but I think it's supposed to reach 90 today. And I've talked about this a lot, but this canyon is interesting. It has its own weatherscape. So in the mornings, overnight, the last few days, it's been in the high 30s here, like 38 degrees. And when I check online to see like what the temperature is at that time, in the closest town, we're like 15 degrees colder here, which is average for us. It's not uncommon for us to be that different in weather. And the closest town is just a 10-minute drive away. So that's just kind of interesting. It's also something we let folks know when they come out here this time of year. Even though it reaches 90 in the day, it's quite chilly at night and in the early morning for a little while. I think it's probably around 50 or so degrees right now. It's 10 o'clock a.m. So we don't reach our peak high temperature here in Western Montana until around 4 or 5 p.m. That's when our temperature reaches its highest. So it takes a little while to ramp up, and then as soon as it reaches its peak, it doesn't hang out there all that long. You know, like here in our small cabin, we can reopen up our windows to cool it back down around by 9 p.m. So it starts going down pretty quickly in temperature, which is nice. We don't tend to stay warm here through the evenings, even through the thick of summer. So so the folks that are coming camping soon, you know, I'm like, in the logistical email I send, I'm like, bring layers, you know, you're gonna be camping outside, it gets colder here than you think. Because it does. But it's been really nice. We can easily open up the windows in the cabin, usually, like I said, at night, like around 9 p.m., and then we just leave them open, typically all night. And then sometimes by the morning time, I get up and I'm like, oh, it's cold in here. So we can drop it down. I think this morning when I got up is 59 degrees inside the cabin, so it was a little chilly. But then we just kind of let it hang out, and then close up the windows, and then as it gets warm out during the day, the inside of the cabin stays very nice. So again, insulation, key. And I'm so glad that Mike has, you know, just so much knowledge about that, and just like, if you're going to spend money on making improvements to your space, insulation is super worth it. So that's been nice. And yeah, now that it is, you know, the higher temperatures out, you know, I'm cooking outside our evening meal. I'm cooking that outside here on the porch. I've got another double burner Coleman, so I just leave that out here, and so I've been cooking meals outside at night. In the morning I can use the kettle and heat up water and make eggs and stuff inside, because it's so chilly out. But once it's warm out, I cook outside, and I've been starting to get the hang of that. At first it was kind of a little bit of a hassle, bringing everything in and out, but now I'm getting the hang of it and really enjoying it. So, and our season for doing this is short, you know, like it's August 6th, and you know, by the end of this month we'll start feeling fall coming in. So, you know, the date on the calendar doesn't mean a whole lot as far as like when the first day of fall is. Like for us here, it's the end of August. And I'm already starting to notice the difference of light here in the evening. So for me, that's becoming more noticeable. So fall is slowly approaching. And a couple, like 2 or 3 years ago, around this time is when we had a black bear come into our space and get birdseed. So that was also an indication of like, oh, the animals are starting to get ready and prepared for winter. And so I have pulled the birdseed. That is no longer a thing I put out past August or into August, because I don't want to attract the bears, as lovely as they are. So, yeah, so that's where we're at today. Oh, there's Chipmunk. Okay, also, before I go, on the chipmunk front, friends, we are inundated. The chipmunks are clearly in charge here. There are chipmunk droppings everywhere, on everything, all the time. And we just have a lot of them. Hey, buddy. They're super cute. As far as being inundated by an animal goes, chipmunks might be as good as it gets. But it's not great. And we are starting to figure out, like, okay, what do we do to reduce our population, because there's so many of them. So we have located a couple of their underground dens. But yeah, like, they're just starting to like chew at stuff. If we leave anything out, they chew at stuff for anything fabric. They chew on to bring back to their dens, to line their dens. I looked it up because I'm like, why are they eating our towels and our floor coverings in the shower house? I'm like, why would they eat that? And they're not actually eating it. They're taking back, you know, the little bits and pieces of fabric to line their dens with, which makes a lot of sense. They're very smart and crafty, and they're just basically tiny ninjas. They just get everywhere. So they're all over here. Anyway, it's a thing happening. Empty Mountain, population 2 as far as humans go, and population 100 more if you count the chipmunks. Alright, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all soon.